How we doing, guys? And it's finished Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. And I'll tell you something, Newcastle got what they came for. So like I said, it's finished Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. And quite honestly, I don't know how it has finished 0-0. Newcastle got exactly what they came for, which was a point. I'll tell you something, I've praised Newcastle this season and I thought that, you know, they played some good football throughout the course of this season. Only lost one game, got an excellent defensive record. But I'll tell you something, I've never seen them play like that, so negatively. Now, you can look at it on one side and say they came and got their point. They didn't lose the game. They kept another clean sheet. It was tactical. They knew what they were doing. If they tried going toe-to-toe with Arsenal, in a football sense, they would have got hammered. So in that way, yeah, they got what they wanted. And I suppose the other side of it as well is that we need to take it as a compliment, because we're playing the way we're playing, that teams like Newcastle have to change completely, you know, when they come to the Emirates. But I think the biggest disappointment for me is the two penalties. Now, we'll talk about the one in injury time first. Like, last kick of the game, this would have been. And what I reference to is penalties that are given throughout the course of this season. If your arm is in an unnatural position, if it's not down the sides of your body, basically. The Newcastle player had both arms in unnatural positions. One of them in particular, the one that hit his arm, it was in an unnatural position. And I look at that and I think, yeah, it's a 50-50 one, in the sense that if you're a Newcastle fan, you'd be like, no. But if you're Arsenal, you're like, yeah. And vice versa. If that was given against us, we'd probably be fuming. But if it was given for us, you'd be buzzing. But the one in particular that I want to speak about is the one on Gabriel by Dan Burn. Now, I don't understand how VAR have not got involved in this. Obviously, the referee will not see this. It's, you know, from a corner or free kick, I think it was. There's lots going on in the box, so it's understandable why, you know, a referee can miss this. So that's where the clear and obvious, you know, error comes in, because he's not seen it. So that's where VAR helps. I'm not talking about a tiny little pull. Like, the best way of describing this is that if you have a look at the logo on the front of the shirt, the actual sponsor, the Fly Emirates, it's over past his shoulder. That's how much his shirt is being pulled. Why has VAR not got involved and said to the referee, you've missed something there, go to the monitor and have a look? Because if the referee would have gone to the monitor and had a look, he would have seen what he missed and he would have awarded a penalty. There's no excuse in that. None at all. Chances were very few and far between. Nketiah had a chance towards the end of the game. Really smart turn and shot, which was saved really well by Pope. But yeah, it's really frustrating. And I don't know which side of the fence you sit on, where you can go, it's 2 points dropped, or it's one of those games. I think what it kind of does as well is highlight our lack of strength in the attacking areas, because we didn't have anybody to bring off the bench. We didn't have anybody that could, you know, grab the game by the scruff of the neck and change it. Martinelli, for me, had a poor game, but we couldn't change him. You know, and that is the biggest thing. So when you're looking at players like, you know, mrdt and, you know, they're talking about João Felix and whatever. If you have these kind of players on the bench, then you've got players that can come on and give something a little bit different, make Newcastle look and try and pose a different threat, you know? And yeah, I just think it's one of those ones that it kind of highlights a few things that we knew, but at the same time, it's just a little disappointing to drop 2 points at home. But we will wait and see, you know, in the long run, whether that is 2 points dropped. And what I mean by that is that, you know, Manchester City go to Chelsea, for example. We all want Chelsea to win that game. Chelsea winning the game will not affect us because, you know, we're that far ahead of them. So it doesn't matter them winning. So if they were to beat Manchester City, for example, then you would look at it and you would say, it's actually a point gained. You know, the closest other team around us is Newcastle. And, you know, they obviously didn't win because we're the ones that drew with them. So, yeah, it's one of those. And I suppose as well, the other side is that if Manchester City were to win, then they just get the 2 points back that they dropped against Everton, you know, a few days ago. So it's not all bad. What we need to do now, you know, obviously, next Premier League game is win it at Spurs. You win that, and then you play Manchester United at home, and you pick up a win there, for example. If you were to do that, pick up 7 points, then you would sit there and say, yeah, you know what, on those 3 games, that's really good. But it's just going to be a very, very interesting one. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns, you know, throughout the course of the season. There's going to be highs and lows, and, you know, we ain't going to get our own way all the time. But I think that's my biggest problem, that the referee's performance, you know, and it's, you look at Bruno for Newcastle, he's on a yellow card. There were 2 tackles and he's literally jumping in the referee's face, waving imaginary yellow cards. Now, by my understanding, the letter of the law is that if you do that, it's an automatic yellow card. But yet the referee's allowed him to do it twice in his face, aggressively. And, you know, Newcastle, they didn't come to do anything. They never attacked. They never wanted to win that game. And you know, I wasn't feeling worried or anything in that respect. I think the referee lost control of the game. I think he was, you know, not giving yellow cards for, you know, tackles that were yellow cards, and then he was giving yellow cards for tackles that weren't. And he made a rod for his own back, and he, you know, made it a difficult evening for himself. Poor referee. And, you know, but the VAR thing, there's just no excusing that. No excusing that at all. Because I can understand why a referee ain't seen it, because of the crowd. It's you know, crowded penalty area, it's difficult, etc., etc. And that's where you need, you know, the VAR to be able to help you and be able to say, listen, you've missed something there, mate. Go back and have a look. Job done. You can move on. But listen, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm not going to get too worried about it. We never lost. It's a clean sheet. We move on. It's as simple as that. So let me know your thoughts. And yeah, listen, if you are new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.